Howdy y'all, and welcome to the USS Lexington. I have a full walkthrough video coming up. It's just I have a lot of videos and I haven't had a chance to cut it down into something manageable yet. But this is one of the best history walkthroughs I've ever heard of the USS Lexington and her service in World War II, where she lost 370 men during her time. So I figured I would go ahead and put this up as a separate video. The USS Lexington was built by Four River Shipyard. She was laid down July 15, 1941 and launched September 23, 1942. She was commissioned February 17, 1943 and decommissioned April 23, 1947. She was recommissioned one time after this and reclassified 4 times. She was stricken from the record in November 8, 1991 and is now a aircraft carrier museum in Corpus Christi, as I said. And if you'd like to see that USS Lexington video when it comes out, or if you're into hiking, history, camping, museums, feel free to hit that subscribe button and share with your friends. Enjoy.
You come on out here, darling. You're going to help me out. Come on here with me. And what's your name again? Michaela's going to point some stuff out to you while we're here, okay? This is the flight deck. Put up your arms, okay? This is the flight deck. This is where we launch and recover aircraft from. This is what the whole ship is about up here. Take a look at it. Now you can sit there. When you get done with me, raise your hand, sir. Raise your hand. You go in that hatch right there. You go up to the flag bridge and navigation bridge. We have a 5-inch anti-aircraft gun mount you can climb into. Just so you guys can appreciate this. In World War II, we had 2 forward and 2 aft 5-inchers here. There are 12 men inside of each one of those anti-aircraft guns. They had a cyclical rate of fire 12 to 15 rounds a minute coming out of here. And they did automatic loaders. They had young men like you every 4 to 5 seconds picking up a 130-pound round and putting it in the breech of the gun. Okay? Now this is a very small World War II aircraft carrier. Mikhail, point down this way. That's the bow. Now point back this way where the American flag is. That's the stern. This is 910 foot long, 142 foot of beam here. This is 2.75 acres up here. This ship you're standing on weighs 47,500 tons as you're looking at it, so please understand that. Now this flight deck doesn't look exactly like it did in World War II. In World War II, it's just a straight deck. Whenever the red and white line, whenever red and white, point down at it. Okay. When you see a red and white line, that's called a foul line. You're going to see it aft forward here. Don't step inside them when the flight operations are going on. Step back to the next big white line behind you, because that's where the winds are coming by you here at 165 miles an hour. Please understand that. Run over there and point down the wood over here, honey. Run over. Okay. That's your port elevator. We have 3 elevators aboard the ship. Where the ticket booths are, it's a starboard elevator. That's where you came in at. We have a port elevator. And up front where the placard is, down below that is the theater. We have a forward elevator. That's for getting aircraft from the flight deck down the hangar deck. Because you have to understand the choreography of all this stuff that's going on. By the way, come on back here. Give her a hand. What you're looking at over there, notice the wood, that's 77-year-old teak. The whole flight deck was made of wood until 1945. It was a different world. We didn't have catapults. Some of you are down below looking at the steam accumulators we had by the theater up front here. We didn't have those until 1945. And I'll tell you later on how we launched and recovered aircraft before that. Now, just to get you going, when you're done with me, please go up to the flag bridge and navigation bridge. We have about 12 aircraft up here. We have aircraft for trainers, aircraft from the Korean War, aircraft from our good friends over here in Vietnam. We have our current strike aircraft. Now, just to get you all in tune here, we'll have some fun. How many of you saw the movie Top Gun? Raise your hand. Repeat after me. 160 694. If I said you negative, Ghost Rider, the pattern's full. Remember the movie back in Blue by the tower in Miramar, and the commander spilled coffee all over himself inside the thing? Well, up serial number 160694. That's the actual aircraft in the movie right there. So if you're with your lady here, let her be Maverick. It always works out better than Okay, so we're going to get started now, just so you can appreciate it. Aboard the ship, we had 2,500 to 3,000 young men aboard here. Average age of the crew was 19 years of age. You're 2,000 miles from any land. You're not coming home for the weekend. You aren't going to go see Mama. There's no air conditioning, no computers, no cell phones, no GPSs. I know to explain to you guys, but some of the young people I have to. It's not an amusement park or a playground. 370 men died aboard this ship in World War II. So this is an amazing piece of history, and we're very fortunate to have it. This is one of 5 aircraft carrier museums we have in the United States. We sit there and have the USS Hornet out in Alameda, California, which I'll talk about that later. We have our good friends in Midway in San Diego. We have this ship here in Corpus Christi. We sit there in the Yorktown of Charleston, South Carolina, and we sit there and have our good friend the Intrepid in New York City. Many people, we have an international group of tourists come aboard here, and after I get done talking to them, they said, we can't believe you have all these ships in museums because we don't even have one of these in our country. I said, that's correct. Take a look at it. Now, just to give you a perception, come on out here with me, darling. What's your name again? Katie's going to point out some difference here. This is a very small aircraft carrier. Our current aircraft carriers are called Nimitz class aircraft carrier, of which we have 9 of them. We also have a next generation after that called the Ford class, of which there's 3 of them here. Now everybody trying to look down this way, point down this way, darling. Add another football field of length to this ship and double the width of it. That's how big a Nimitz aircraft carrier is. It's almost a quarter of a mile long. Aboard a Nimitz aircraft carrier, we have 5,500 to 6,000 young men and women. We have 40 to 50 F-18s, the total of about 70 aircraft aboard one of these. An aircraft carrier never goes out by itself. When they're deployed, they're called a carrier strike group. Raise your hand for a second here. Okay, if she's the USS Ronald Reagan off the east coast of Taiwan, she's going to be out there. You come over here and help me out, darling. Okay. You're out there about 1.5 miles out here. This is an Aegis class guided missile cruiser. Spread around is 360 degrees. We have 5 to 7 destroyers and guided missile frigates. 200 miles out in front of us, we have 2 nuclear attack submarines. This whole thing is called a carrier strike group. This is a projection on national policy. Young men and women are out there doing this right now. You can imagine what happens if there's some issues going on in the Middle East and Southeast Asia. You need a carrier strike group to come 200 miles offshore and go, we're here. Just think about it. Think about what you're doing. I can't confirm or deny we have nuclear weapons. So here we are. Well, that's what happens. You guys have an appreciation. When we're at sea, we're going over the crest, down into the trough of the wave. We're doing a pitch and a yaw and a heave, okay? So get your sea legs on. You see the railings going around here? Real aircraft carrier is doing that railing. It's wide open. The flight deck of an aircraft carrier is considered the most hazardous work environment in the world. Everything up here can kill you when we're in flight operations. So come over here, darling, just for a second, okay? If she's the young aviation's bosun's mate just out of basic training, when she reports aboard the aircraft carrier, come over here, sir. Okay? You're going to report as this first or second class petty officer. You come to the board here. And you're going to be with him 8 to 10 weeks. He's going to give you very strong verbal and physical reinforcement because if you're wrong, you're dead. You're wearing your fatigues, your colored shirt for responsibility, your flotation jacket, your cranial crash with your protection sports goggles. The noise up here is so tremendous we can't talk to each other. The thing that happens up here is done by hand signals. And the people who control the flight deck are yellow shirts. We're called aircraft directors. There's 6 or 8 of them up here. By the way, raise your hand, ma'am. If you're the pilot that just came up here, we'll talk more about this later. You cannot move your aircraft except my explicit directions. And I'm going to hand you off to people as we go down here. I want you guys to set one back for a second. Good. Make yourselves comfortable if you want to. Okay, we're going to have a little get a seat here. Okay. A little bit of history lesson. We'll try and get you engaged here. The war for us in World War II in the Pacific started when? Okay, December 7th, 1941, was coming a Japanese attack at Pearl Harbor. Sir, come on out here. Okay, you probably don't recognize this man, but I'll introduce him to you. Okay, the President Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Okay. Today,
I didn't hear the music.
Today is December 8th, 1941. Okay, he just sit there and brought you in here. Come here, sir. Come on over here with me. It's not going to be a good day for you. Today he got done with his day of infamy speech in joint session of Congress. He invited you to come over to the White House. Turn around, look at everybody. This is General George C. Marshall, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Now you're in the Oval Office, and he invited you to come in. Turn around, look at me, sir. He says, "Good to see you, General Marshall. How are you today?" He says, "It's been a hell of a time, Mr. President." He says, "You have no idea." He says, "I'm going to hit him, and I'm going to hit him now." General Marshall looked at him and says, "With respect, Mr. President, we have strategic capability to hit them. Had they sit there and come ashore in California, they could have come all the way to Missouri, and we could have stopped them. To you young people, there's no Latin term, it goes way back to Romans. You seek peace, prepare for war. That's reality in the world out there. There's nothing complacent. Take a look at it. That's why you have a military over there. Take a look at it." Well, he looks at you, understand this, and this man has had polio, has braces on his legs. He pushes himself up off his desk and says, "Will you get a solution?" I think it'd be this man, walking out of the Oval Office with a new orifice in his body. Here we are, third blue shirt, come over here with me. We're coming up in March 1942. Two Johns, he's invited you to come over to the Rose Garden. Come over here with me. Okay, he's out in Rose Garden. He says, "Good to see you, General Marshall." He says, "Mr. President, how are you today?" Good. And I wasn't even paying attention. "Who's that?" And he goes, "Mr. President, this is the man that came up with the idea." He says, "Well, who are you? Come to attention here and stand at me, sir." And he sits there and goes, "Mr. President, I'm Captain Lowe." And he sits there and the president says, "Well, what do you do, Captain?" Turn around, look at everybody. So give him a smile. He says, "Mr. President, I'm a damn good submarine skipper." The president looked at him and says, "I like submariners, they're sneaky." He's the one that came up with the idea to put 16 B-25 Mitchell bombers on the back of an aircraft carrier. You guys can all step back here. Here we go. Sir, in the shirt, come over here with me. You're going to be with me for a little while here. Okay. You probably don't recognize this man right here, but I'll introduce him to you. At this point in 1942, this is Captain Mark Mission. You're not aboard the Lexington, you're aboard the USS Hornet. Okay, so understand that. You ready to help me out here, young lady? Come on over here with me. Leave your purse with me. I'm gonna watch him real carefully. Okay. Okay. This is Captain Mark Mission. Just step right up here a second. Let me give you a little bit of background to this person. He's a 1910 graduate of the Naval Academy. When he first went to the Navy, he was in destroyers. In 1916, he volunteered. Raise your hand, sir. He volunteered for this new program called Naval Aviation. He went to Pensacola, Florida, sitting there, just like we do today. We're going to pre-flight indoctrination. Stand up, young man. Raise your hand. That's your primary flight instructor down in Pensacola, Florida. Okay. Guess who taught him how to fly? Well, the Wright brothers did. That's how long it is. Take a look at it. And this man is going to be aviator number 16 in the Navy. He's an aviator. Take a look at it. He's been his whole career. Take a look at it. And you're aboard the USS Hornet. You're the captain of the Hornet. You're standing right up here like this. You probably didn't recognize this person. We'll have some fun with this. It's going to be the leader of the Tokyo Raiders coming in, Lieutenant Colonel Jimmy Doolittle. He's intelligent, by the way. Make no doubt about it. He got thrown out of college 3 times for fighting and gambling, but the other side, he had a master's and a PhD from MIT for aeronautical engineering. Okay, first one to get that. In the 1920s, he was sitting there. He held all the airspeed records. This thing had a huge engine, small wings. He'd fly the thing. Take a look at it. In the 1930s, well, we invited him to temporarily resign his commission. Step over here with me. He is now a representative for Shell Oil, and he's coming over to Germany. He's shelling petroleum products to the Germans. What was he really doing over there? He was a spy sitting there going what was going on. When World War II broke out, he was sitting there, he came back to the Army Air Corps. Okay? Now understand this. Look back here. See the expansion joint? Imagine 16 B-25 Mitchell bombers sitting back there. These are twin-engine medium bombers. Come over here for a second, sir. You're going to be the first one off here, okay? Your aircraft normally takes 13 to 1,800 feet of runway to get up in the air. Look over this way, Jimmy. You got 300 feet, no count. By the way, just consider this. Now, it's a gorgeous day today. Understand that. That's not the way it was, because we started to have the Hornet came out and meet here with our good friend over here, the Enterprise of Bull Halsey is aboard there. We're coming across the Pacific. We're rolling the dice, friends. There's a Japanese control of the whole South Pacific. Our objective is to sneak up on them and sit there. There's a psychological factor. We're going to do a whole lot of damage to bomb Tokyo to show them they're not irrepressible. Take a look at it. So here we are. Haven't you seen the movie Pearl Harbor? Have you seen the movie Midway? Beautiful movies, not realistic, but people aren't like this. But understand this, consider what today in 1942 was like. Isn't a beautiful day like today? Let's think of this. You're in the middle of a typhoon. Typhoon is a hurricane in the Pacific. We're going into 80-mile-an-hour winds. We're going this way about 20 miles an hour. Face this way. The wind out here in the flight deck, the current wind is 100 miles an hour coming down this flight deck. And you're holding down the tie downs in here. And your aircraft are back there. They're all chained down, getting ready to go. And he calls you up to the bridge up there. And he goes, well, Colonel, what are you going to do? We're going to launch or we're going to abort? And Jimmy does a wild and he says, run! He knew it was a one-way mission. Understand that. There's nothing that's going to happen. We'll sit there and have Mom come over here with me just for a second. Okay? Here's the objective. We wanted to get within 400 miles of Japanese mainland, which we've done. If everything goes right, we're going to launch out of here. We're going to put a Kyushu Island, Tokyo, Kyoto is, and so forth, do bombing. We're going to move the flight to Japan. We're going to fly to Sea Command. We're going to fly past Eastern China because the Japanese occupied it. You may not recognize these people. You hear about them. This is Chiang Kai-shek, Republic of China. And this person you learned about in the 60s, well, that's Mao Zedong. They built airstrips for us in Western China. They're fortunate in the U.S. So come over here with me. Okay, so you can step one back here, man, if you would. So here you are. You're getting ready to go. You see right here, this expansion joint with the yellow strut is. Turn around and face me. Captain, you're right up top here. Turn around and face this way. Okay, you slide back your canopy. Slide it back. You give him a big thumbs up. Captain, you give her a thumbs up also. We're going into 80-mile-an-hour winds. Let me tell you the sea state. Look up the first to the second catwalk. We're in 30-foot seas. As we come over the crest, down to the trough of the waves are breaking over the front of the ship, and we're 60 foot above the water here. So please understand that. He has this thing all wound up. We didn't get within 400 miles. We're 675 miles out. We've stripped everything out of these aircraft, except each one of them has 400 or 500-pound bombs on them. So you're sitting there, what you're doing, you're winding your engine all the way up, your throttle's in your left hand, you start pushing, you have twin engines, your twin engines are all thinking, you have your brakes on your rudder pedals, so on your brakes, okay? This thing is shaking back here, and I'm the yellow shirt out here, I'm watching this, and I had sitting here having like this, down this way. The ship comes over the crest, down the trough, I'm pointing at you, when you're touching the deck and doing this, you're gonna come screaming down this flight deck. Right wing clears that 5-inch gun mount by 3 feet coming out of here, and as the ship comes over the crest of the wave, it takes off. This aircraft really stalls. He doesn't have enough lift tape with it, so as he comes out, the aircraft starts to stall. He drops his nose. He clears the incoming wave by 10 feet. That all happened here April 1942. Step one back here, darling. You stay here, sir. Okay, close your eyes. Open them up. It's May 1944. Consider this. Raise your hand, sir. This is no longer Captain Mark Misher. It's Admiral Mark Misher. Sir, coming there. And we're just going to go have some fun here. Sir, raise your hand for a second. Just raise your hand. Okay. That's Admiral Spruance, commander of the 5th Fleet. You saw the ship he was on the South Dakota down below here. He's sitting there and has you, the commander of Task Force 58. Let me tell you what he has under his command. This is his flagship for Task Force 58. Under his command, he has 15 aircraft carriers, 9 battleships, 22 cruisers, 58 destroyers, and 26 submarines. This is Corpus Christi Bay out here. That covers about 3.5 square miles. His task force covers 5.5 square miles. That's further than you can see out there. So just imagine this. He has 120,000 men under his command. He has 1,100 aircraft. And he's been tasked by Admiral Spruance to go secure the Marianas. When I get close to it in a second. And I'm going to tell you what's going on. Just turn around and face the people this way. There you go. Okay. This is Guam, Saipan, and Tinian. The Japanese have occupied those aircraft since 1939. It's 1944 now. You can imagine all the defensive positions they have in there. Okay? So here's what's going to happen. We're going to get you two young people to come over here with me. Okay, come over here with me. We're coming up on June 15th, 1944. We have our battleships and our cruisers 5 to 7 miles offshore. And we start bombarding these islands here, particularly Saipan are coming in. We do this for 72 hours non-stop. That is Thursday. We started on Monday doing this. 12, 24, 36, 48, 60, 72 hours of bombarding this. We expended 12,500 rounds of artillery. That's 16, 14, and 12-inch artillery rounds. You ever seen a 16-inch round? Come over here for a second here. I'm going to need for your height. She's about the height of a 16-inch round, a little bit more dense than this lovely lady is. Each one of these rounds, stay here, you aren't moving yet. Okay, each one of these rounds weighs about 2,700 pounds. Have an effective range. You can just barely see there's quarter rounds. That's 7 miles from us here. The effective range when you fire these things up to 23 miles from here. That's almost to Rockport from here. We expended 2,500 rounds of 16 inches going into these islands. Unbelievable. If you sit there and for example, 4 16-inch rounds in the city, wipe out 8 to 9 city blocks. That's what's going on. You can step on back. So what we sit there and do, you guys step on back for a second. We lift artillery fire. Everybody going to walk out here. Just once we lift artillery fire, we have 2 Marines and 1 Army division are going to make an amphibious landing aboard this island right here. Okay? Man in the skirt, come over here with me. Just circle around these islands. We just circle around. I'm walking a circle around. You guys, I'm just there to do just a second here. I started negated this. Admiral Spruance, we just assigned him to be Commander of Task Force 58. Raise your hand for a second, man. He assigned this person to be your chief of staff. Come on over here with me, man. You stand right here, okay? And you threw a fit. This is Captain Arleigh Burke. Arleigh Burke class destroyers. That's who it's named after right here. He's a 1923 graduate of the Naval Academy. When he sat there in World War II, he was a destroyer squadron commander. He was in Guadalcanal and Bougainville. You've heard of Iron Bottom Sound down there. He used 2 squadrons of destroyers in between our Marines that were on Bougainville down there. The Japanese task force coming down. He lost 6 of his 8 destroyers defending the Marines down there. Raise your hand, man. This person is known as 31 Knot Burke because he knows 2 speeds off, 31 knots. That's what he did. But we almost have to change shoes here. We'll have fun with this. If you're a naval aviator, tradition we have in the military, you're a brown shoe. And if you're a surface warfare person, listen, you're a black shoe. And he threw a fit to Spruance. He goes, "What are you doing assigning Burke to me? He knows nothing about carrier operations." And Spruance came back and said, "Admiral, that's who you got. Make it work." Okay? It was early 1942, shook my hand. I met you right up here in this catwalk up there. And he sat there and said to you, Glad to have you aboard, Captain. Stay out of my way because you have no idea what's going on. You walked away from him. You wouldn't even talk to him. So understand that. Keep circling around. Amazing going on, man. Come over here with me. These two guys are 75 to 100 miles offshore. You circle around those two people. Okay. We have close air support here, aircraft flying around. We have combat air patrols flying over here now. Take a look at it. Quite something when you think about it. Sir, come on over here with me. Okay. All this is going on. Come on here with me, sir. And our combat air patrol sit there, stop for a second, darling. And she radios back in and he goes, Tally ho, we have bandits out here. 275 and 200, Angels 18. We have Japanese aircraft coming in from the southwest down toward Guam. Raise your hand for a second, sir. This is Admiral Osamuro Osama. He has a task force particularly assigned by Emperor Hirohito to get rid of you. Okay? By the way, if you don't pull this off, okay? You have to understand this. This man is not a Johnny-come-lately. He was one of the operational planners of Pearl Harbor. Take a look at it. And they actually wanted to have a second hit, but they pulled it back from him as opposed to going in. Take a look at it. By the way, just so you can get an idea of this, raise your hand again, sir. It's not your typical Japanese man, 6'8" tall. He has launched aircraft coming in here toward these islands. So you radioed back in, you saw that we have Japanese out here, 275 and 200, Angels 18. They're heading at 275 degrees out. They're 200 miles out from us. At Angels 18, you multiply 18s by 1,000, they're at 18,000 feet coming in. Well, that raised the pucker factor a whole lot for you guys, because you weren't expecting this. So you turn around to Arleigh Burke and you go, call those aircraft back. And what she does, you guys ready my aircraft? They get on the radio, very rudimentary those days, they go, hey, Rude! And they call you back to the aircraft carriers. Come over here with me. Come on. You guys go sit down, you can sit down, sir. You guys ladies go sit down. Thank you very much. Over here. Now look at this. Our 15 aircraft carriers, we turn them all into the wind. And interesting thing, the wind is coming out of the east, we're going to the west. So we have to turn the whole fleet into the wind that's coming from the east. Now look back here. You see this expansion joint? All you young people, just imagine 4 aircraft across 15 deep. 60 aircraft sitting back there getting ready to go make this happen. You ready to help me out here, darling? Come over here with me. Now you're going to be the flight lead. You turn around and face me. You're the flight lead, okay? Yellow shirt, come on out here with me. Okay. Come over here, sir. It's all right. And now you're no longer. Okay, here we are. He's going to be the aircraft director up here. The ship has come into the wind and we're up to speed. If you look near up there, you see the red, the green, and the yellow light. Right up here above you, the red, the green, and the yellow, and those are our primary flight control. That's the flight deck status lights. If it's red, it means we're not up to speed or into the wind. If it comes down to the yellow light is turning, that means we're into the wind, we're turning into or out of it. And finally, when we're into the wind up to speed, the green one comes on. So you're watching this. So we're up to speed and into the wind now. We have our good friends back here, 60 aircraft sitting back there getting ready to go. Put your arms up like this because your wings are folded. Okay, not you, sir. You're coming over here, you're watching this whole thing. Okay, he's looking at this, and you're looking down this way. The ship comes over the crest, down to the trough of the wave. So point at earth your left hand, cross your arms, and open them up. You're going to bring your wings down and lock them, okay? Now you're going to point at earth your left hand, put your right hand in the air, start turning them, your hand turning them. You're bringing the RPMs all the way up in this thing. This aircraft is starting to scream as you're going with it. And then while you're doing this, you're going to sit here and turn around and look this way. You're going to watch the ship as it comes over the crest, down to the trough, and you're going to point at her, point the right hand. You're going to have it touch the deck, go this way, and you're going to come screaming down this flight deck as the ship comes over the crest of the wave. Today, from your 15 aircraft carriers, we launched 425 fighter planes out here. Look over here behind us. You can go out to a visual horizon at about 7 to 10 miles from here. This is the largest contrails of the aircraft going out there doing this. Just unbelievable. Sir, you can step on back here. Maybe step on back here. You guys are still here. Take a look. You ready to help me out again? Okay. In the midst of all this, this air person comes and lands this F6F Hellcat right here. See the man in the black shirt is? You're going to go in that patch over there. You're going to come up to Harley Burke, who's standing up top here. You're going to come up and say, you know, Captain, these things are falling out of the air just like leaves. It's just like a turkey shoot at home. Turn around and look at everybody. This is a mid-Texas boy. This is Lieutenant Commander Paul Bowie. He's the one credited with the moniker, the Marianas Turkey Shoot. Step on back here, darling. Lady in the black, come over here with me. Yeah. We don't need the ugly guys. Get the pretty girls come over here. Okay, so here we are. A little bit later, this person comes and lands in F-6F Hellcat right here. You stand up on the seat of the aircraft and you hold up the 6 fingers. You gotta do it now. Admiral, you're what a copper that man is. You give him a big thumbs up, okay? This is Lieutenant J.G. Alex Brasson, 22 years of age. In 8 minutes, he shot down 6 Japanese aircraft. Shake my hand. You become an ace in 8 minutes. And that all happened here June 19th, 1944. So just imagine that you're standing here looking at this. It gives you a very different perspective about what went on here. Take a look at it. Let's give a hand here. Everybody helped out. Very good. Very good. Thank you, guys. If you have any questions, I'll be available here for you. But please enjoy yourselves. An amazing piece of history that you're going through. Thank you again for your courtesy. Thank you.